Hi everyone, it's Mark here from McKnight.net, and today I'm going to show you how to connect your domain name to your hosting and set up WordPress. So the first thing you need to do is actually get a domain name, and if you haven't got one already, I recommend Namecheap. It's one of the best domain name providers on the internet and offers the best value. I've been with a few other ones and I've always went back to Namecheap, simply because it's a good price to register your domain. Plus, when you go to renew after a year or 2 years, you get a good renewal price rather than a domain provider who maybe charges you 99 cents for the first year, but the second year could be $15.99, whereas Namecheap's like a set price all the way through. So we're going to search for a domain. I'm just going to search for my name, and if you're starting a blog like mine, then this is usually the best way to go. So we'll see all the variations of the name. So I already own this one, McKnight.net, that I've registered. So we'll go over to my domain, which is here, and you'll see that in your domain list when you actually log into Namecheap and buy a domain. So we'll go to manage, and you can see in here it has all the things to do with your domain. So really what we want to look at first of all is the Nameservers. So when you register with your hosting company, they'll give you Nameservers, and that's how you link the hosting with your domain name. So the hosting company I recommend also is Namecheap. That's who I'm with. And for this demonstration, we'll just use Namecheap Basic DNS. If your hosting give you Nameservers that are different, say you're with HostGate or something like that, you would just go to custom DNS and put each Nameserver that they've sent you in the email into the lines. There, Nameserver 1, Nameserver 2, and click the tick, and that'll set that up for you. I've bought my domain name, McKnight.net. Now we need to add it to our hosting. So we log into our cPanel through our host, and if you log in, I recommend Namecheap hosting for that as well. And this is what their cPanel looks like. So the first thing we need to do is go down to add on domains, click on it, and that'll take us to this page. So what we're going to do is put in the new domain name that we've bought, which is McKnight.net. We're not going to create an FTP account with this domain yet. We may do this at a later stage, but this is only if you want to upload files that aren't associated with WordPress onto your hosting account. So let's add the domain. It takes a little bit of time for it to add it. And now that's added, you can see the add-on domain McKnight.net has been created. If you'd like to manage the files, you can go to the file manager, and it also tells you about enabling an HTTPS certificate. We're not going to worry about that. Namecheap does give you one of these for the first year for free, but I like to use Cloudflare for the SSL, so that's how I'm going to be setting mine up in the next couple of videos. So we'll come back to that later, and we'll go back into the cPanel. And now we're going to go down to WordPress. We're going to set WordPress up on this domain. We're just going to use the standard WordPress installer. So you just go to install now and choose. So we don't need to change this at the moment. That there is the PHP level that Namecheap's hosting's using. We can come back to that later. We're just going to choose installation URL. We'll find our name in here that we've just added on. So it's just leave this as it is for the time being. We're going to be changing this to an S later on, but that's after we install everything. Site name, it's going to be Mark McKnight, and we'll just say Internet Marketing Tips for the description. So the first thing we're going to do is the admin username. We're going to change this from admin, because admin is the username by default, and we want to make this as hard for hackers as possible if they ever try to hack our site. So we'll change this to something more. I'm just going to use Mark McKnight as my username and our password. So it's already generated a strong password, so just make a note of that for later, because that's, unless you want to put your own password in there, we'll take a note of that for later. And then our admin email we'll just leave as admin@markmcknight.net. We'll be setting that up later as well. Just make a note of that one too. English is the language. Limit logins. We'll not worry with that at the minute. Classic editor. I like to use the classic editor. I'm not going to worry about the cache. Advanced options. Nothing really in there that I'm going to change. And we don't need to worry about a theme because we're going to add our own theme in. So just press install. And when it's finished, you will have your domain and your administrative URL. Our Namecheap basic DNS. I think we'll change to web hosting DNS. This may take a while. It could take up to 48 hours to take effect. So that is WordPress set up on that domain. And that's how we log into it. In the next video, we'll come back and log into WordPress and add a theme and do some basic editing and setting up. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.